Let's start with a quick question. Think about your workday. How many different apps, logins, and windows do you have to juggle just to get your job done? If it feels like a whole lot, you are definitely not alone. Today we're diving into a huge challenge that pretty much every modern business is facing, the cybersecurity productivity paradox. Okay, take a look at this number, 94%. Just let that sink in for a second. That is a massive, massive majority, and it points to a huge frustration that's just boiling under the surface of today's digital office. Yep, you heard that right. A recent study from JumpCloud and Google Workspace found that only a tiny 6% of IT leaders think their software setup is actually working well. This means a mind-blowing 94% are dealing with a whole mess of challenges. We're talking everything from spiraling costs and security risks to just overwhelming complexity. And with the explosion of new software tools and the big shift to remote work, this isn't some small problem. It's practically universal.
So, to really get a handle on this, let's start with the people on the front lines, the IT teams. We're looking at what is basically a broken digital office, and they're the ones trying to hold it all together with the digital equivalent of duct tape.
This quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the constant tug-of-war IT teams are in. It's not as simple as just buying more software or locking everything down. Finding that sweet spot where work is both safe and easy is a really monumental task. So what does this complexity actually look like day to day? Well, on average, a single IT team is managing 9 different tools. 9! That's not a streamlined system. That's just chaos. It's constant firefighting just to keep things running.
And you can bet that tool sprawl comes with some serious headaches. IT leaders point to 3 main frustrations. They are drowning in administrative busy work across all those different platforms, they're constantly tweaking these super complex and fiddly security settings, and they're trying to make sense of pricing models that honestly seem designed to be confusing.
But here's the thing, this isn't just an IT problem. Not even close. The high cost of all this digital clutter affects everyone in the organization, right from the top all the way down. This slide really lays out the whole paradox perfectly. See, on one side you've got the demands of security, things like restrictive policies, complex logins, and constant monitoring. You know the drill. But on the other side you have what people need to be productive, seamless collaboration, quick access to their tools, and an easy, intuitive workflow. These two forces are in a constant battle. And when that tension isn't managed well, the ripple effect is huge. Frustrated employees start finding their own insecure workarounds, like sharing passwords or using personal apps just to do their jobs. The gaps between all these separate tools create the very security holes you were trying to prevent. Collaboration slows to a crawl, morale takes a nosedive, and ultimately the entire business performance suffers. So here's the bottom line. The old way of doing things, just patching together a bunch of different tools, it just doesn't work anymore. A fragmented system gives you the worst of both worlds. It's inefficient for your team, it's insecure for your data, and it's just plain bad for business.
But it's not all doom and gloom. There's a really clear trend emerging, a major push away from this broken model and towards a much better, unified solution.
The data here speaks for itself, loud and clear. A massive 87% of IT leaders say they are willing to swap out their current tools for a platform that is more unified and secure. That's not just a small trend. That is a powerful demand for a fundamental change in how we all work.
And this is what they're looking for, a unified digital workspace. So what is it? It's a single integrated platform. Think of it like the difference between having a giant jangling keychain with a dozen different keys and having a single secure master key card that gets you into every room you need, no problem. The whole goal is to simplify everything, from management to the user experience, without ever compromising on strong security. This brings us to the final and most important part of our explainer today. How do we actually achieve that ideal balance for smarter, smoother, and safer work? Well, the benefits of bringing everything under one roof are immediate, and they are powerful. You reduce costs because you're getting rid of redundant software. You streamline processes for both your users and your IT team. Compliance becomes so much simpler to manage, and you end up creating a more efficient and honestly less frustrating environment for everyone involved. So how do you actually get there? It's a pretty clear 3-step path. First, you have to review. Take a complete inventory of all your current tools to see what you're really working with. Second, consolidate. Be ruthless here. Cut out redundant software and processes that are just slowing you down. And third, invest. Intentionally choose platforms that were built from the ground up for exactly this: secure, seamless collaboration.
And that brings us right back to the central message. This has never been about choosing one over the other. The real goal, the modern way to do things, is to build a digital ecosystem where strong security is the very thing that enables great productivity and vice versa.
So we'll leave you with this final thought for your own organization. Is your digital workplace actually built for productivity, or is it just built for protection? The answer to that question reveals everything.